And you can hear me all right on stream? You can hear me? Okay, very good. Hi, Stephen. This is the room today. These are the people on stream. And for you who have not been here before, if you ask questions, I always want you to talk into the mic because the people on stream wants to hear it as well. Very good. Okay. Let's start by just sitting comfortably. You can close your eyes. Sanna, can you turn off the fan? I think it's over there somewhere. Just come into the awareness of this moment. Recognize the body, experience of the body, thinking, emotional content. Just notice what is here. All your ideas of how to approach this moment, what to do in meditation, all of that, just let that go for now. Just notice what is. And if you stop like this, you notice the natural pace of this moment. At first, when you come into this awareness, it can just feel like it's slowing down. Like everything settles. Just notice the state of the body. Your emotional state. There's nothing to do with this. In this moment, you're not here to fix anything. You just recognize what is. See what that does. Not resisting any thought. Not resisting anything on an experiential level. Just allowing this moment to unfold. Completely alert, completely aware of this moment. And you just allow whatever comes to come. Don't resist thoughts, don't try to make your mind silent, none of that. Just allow this moment to happen as it happens. If the thoughts come, you recognize them and let them go. When you completely embrace your experience like this, the mind starts to slow down. The identified tendencies, what we refer to as ego, has not much room in this kind of acceptance. And so the mind usually goes a bit more quiet. The tricky thing from the standpoint of the mind is there is nothing to do here. Just this deep watchfulness and the unfolding of the moment. The acceptance of this unfolding is what we call meditation. And perhaps your thoughts and your mind is still quite erratic, resisting just being. If there is a lot of activity, you focus on your breath. You use that as an anchor before you can rest in awareness. If you recognize that you can rest as awareness, then just stay. If you get lost in thoughts, come back to recognizing this moment of your breath. Every moment is new. The restlessness of the mind misses that fact about the present moment. It might want more to happen. It wants the next thing. But you are here. Every thought of the future or the past is happening now. You can slowly open your eyes, move your body, move your hands, stretch out your legs if you need to. At first, the mind is filled with all kinds of ideas. Many people say that they have very few ideas of what things are, but the more you look into it, the more you notice that you have an idea of what meditation is, what the meditative state is supposed to be, what it's going to do for you, what you're going to get out of it. I started meditating because I wanted to get rid of anxiety and depression. I had no idea what it would do. I had no idea that it could show me much more than that. It's not that you become much from meditation. It's just that you peel things away. And this peeling is not a very... It's not an activity. If you stay as your awareness, the peeling happens. What you don't need falls away. That is the natural pace of things. What you will recognize is hidden between that perfect, compact string of thoughts that most people live with, is that you notice that there is space. There's a sense of spaciousness between the thoughts. Perhaps you notice it sometimes. You see a beautiful sunset, or you're in a situation that you really enjoy, and you can just take in the moment. But this quality is always here. This full acceptance of the moment is possible when there is no resistance with thoughts. Most of us are so addicted to the idea of identity and ourselves that is all we play with. I would say that 90% of all thinking revolves around that. That's most people's whole thing. To think about, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to cope with life? How can I make my life bearable? If you're very honest, most people try to survive. They don't thrive in the moment, they're not happy, they don't feel content or peaceful. If we're being honest, not what people like to display on social media, because then everyone is happy. And what I realized through meditation is that it becomes a question of how honest do you want to be with your experience? How honest can you be with yourself? When you sit and see all your shit, will you distract yourself or will you stay? When you see your arrogance, your shame, your anger, your ill will, your hatred, will you stay? That is the question. Not so much, how is the technique? How am I going to progress? Blah, blah, blah. It's all secondary to this. And people ask me sometimes what is the most important quality to have as a meditator. And many think that it's like will. They say things to me like, you must have such strong willpower. Like you can will your mind, you can tame it some. But it's not at all like that. It's much more how sincere can you be with this moment? How authentic, how honest. Can you allow yourself to feel what is here? Those are the real questions. And those require completely different qualities than the one who just wants to will everything. Because with the presence of the moment comes such gentleness, such softness, because you will start to see life as precious. You will start to see that every moment is beautiful. You will say in your mind, perhaps you argue, but I don't like this moment, or I don't like this part of my life, or I don't like the relationship to a parent, or I don't like this or that. But the acceptance of it changes everything. What you take yourself to be is the biggest part of this experience. Not what happens in the world, not what happens in the environment around you, not how you have fixed your life. None of those things matter compared to what you take yourself to be. It will always be the biggest factor. If you find contentment here, you find contentment here. If you find love here, you find love here. It's very simple, but the difficulty is this sincerity, is to be with it, is to be with all the things at first that you don't like. And the challenge for, I know a couple of you here, when you sit through those things, is that another thing starts to happen. Suddenly the mind starts to become spacious. Suddenly, spontaneously, there is bliss, there is love in your heart, there is empathy for all. And this is usually the biggest challenge for most people, is to also take that in. That everything that I thought was external and beautiful, people that you held on a pillar, held high, all the beautiful qualities are suddenly your qualities. Can you take that? Are you worthy? This is the big challenge in meditation. And I have some bad and some good news about meditation. The bad news is it's very difficult in the beginning. The mind jumps all over. As soon as it doesn't go your way, you will have some explanation that you should stop your practice and do something else, or blah, blah. I'm on the wrong path. I'm doing too much of this now, blah, blah. It has all this. It will derail you. The ego will derail you as quickly as it can. But the good news is, when that same ego starts to be weakened after a while, meditation becomes much easier. And you will see its tendency. And if you're sincere and you stay with it, you will start to see its tendencies. How it operates, what it wants from your mind, how it distracts you, how it always wants to stay relevant with the next thing, how it creates drama, how it creates situations, how it creates problems, all these things. There is nothing except the present moment. But in the ego's world, there is a whole world of what's going to happen to you in the future and what has happened to you in the past. That is always considered. And to the ego, the present moment is just a thin sliver that is not very important, that is, yes, that's what's going on now. That is most people's life. They think of their life like a lifespan, preferably 90 years plus, and that you're somewhere in that span. And things have happened to you and are going to happen to you. This is the world of ego. This is the world of the identified idea of the person. But if we look at the present moment from an experiential level, there is only this. Your life is only this moment as it unfolds now. But to the ego, it feels like your life is tiny. But in actuality, you make your life much smaller by always carrying this idea of your life. That limits your life in so many aspects, because it says from what you have seen of the past, oh, I can't really do this. I can't engage with these people. They think I'm like this. Or you limit yourself in so many ways because of your ideas. Jiddu Krishnamurti had a beautiful name for it and called the tyranny of expectation. And that is what it does. It creates a very, very small world, because you will only see what you expect of the world. And the beauty of meditation is that when you come into the acceptance of the moment, you allow everything to unfold, everything to happen. And the possibilities for what things can happen in your life are endless, instead of very specific. And life can surprise you in a way that it couldn't before, because you were so honed in on a specific experience and a specific idea. So this spaciousness gives so much quality to life. It's actually what gives quality to life. And most people live their lives in a kind of a mind trance most of the time, obsessed with the idea of the person and not really being present, not really wanting to be where you are. And especially if you suffer in some way, then you really don't want to be in the present moment. But the more you look at what is here, you understand that there is no experience but this. And even if the body is in pain, or you are anxious or restless or waiting and wanting to be somewhere else, there is still only here. And in that, it can feel very tough to digest at first. But the more you stay with it, the more you recognize that the expressions of emotions also come through this moment. If you stay with what you feel and don't suppress it, it will be expressed. It can have its grief, it can come with its tears, whatever is needed. Maybe there is an expression connected to it, and that can unfold as well. But most people curate their emotions. They suppress some of them, and they allow some of them that they feel are okay. And most people are not aware of the amount of of things that they have suppressed during their lifetime. So when the mind becomes spacious, all the crap has to come out. And this, for many people, feels like a regression in their meditation. They feel like at first it perhaps was a little difficult, and then it started to be more smooth and nice, and I had a nice feeling of it, and then suddenly it hits with a burst of something really, really difficult. Or the meditation just doesn't feel nice, or my life feels like it just got turned upside down. These are those old tendencies coming to the surface. In Vedanta we call them vasanas. That just means old tendencies that come to the surface. You don't have to fix them. When that happens, many people are like, oh, now this thing from my childhood has come out. I have to talk to everyone. I have to tell my therapist. I have to tell or discuss with my friends or whatever it is. But it's just crap coming out. You can just let it go. You don't have to fix it, you don't have to hold it, you don't have to cuddle it, you don't have to do anything with it. Just allow it to surface and go. One beautiful teacher I met, Raya Krishna, he always said, when you go to the bathroom and you have pooped, do you take a stick and move around the poop and check it? No, you don't, you just flush. Same here. It's just old crap coming out. It doesn't mean anything big for the person, even though the person loves those kind of stories. So that's why I'm saying this. And as soon as you have started to, because first the mind is a bit overwhelmed. It's like you turn a light on a very, very messy closet. You know that closet that you just put stuff in, but you never cleaned. Your mind is like that. And suddenly you turn on the light and you're like, there's a lot of stuff here. and actually, some people have said when they started meditation and started to watch their thoughts, they say, I thought it was bad before, but I think it's actually worse now. There's even more stuff because the awareness of it makes it. The light is on. You're exposing it. And at first, you just have to somehow concentrate your mind. That is step one. You have to focus on something. A good thing is your breath through the nose. It's very obvious. It's always there. You carry it with you all the time. You can just be aware of it. Come back to it. Anchor yourself to it. If all my awareness talk doesn't hit you, do you feel like, I don't really understand what he means by that? That subtle awareness, I don't get it. Then you go to this breath until the mind starts to calm down. In that practice, you will come to a place where there will just be quiet sometimes. You sit and it's very silent, very spacious. In that, you start to get aware of, you start to notice that there is awareness. That there is some aspect of you that is just looking, that just knows. And that the qualities that comes from that can be recognized. And when that starts to happen, then the ability to just rest as awareness start to happen spontaneously. This is not really a doing. You cannot really will it or force that into happening. That is something that has to do with the relaxation and the spaciousness of the mind. And also your maturity when it comes to just grasping what this experience is. And when you come to that, then you would say that your meditation goes from concentration to meditation. That is when meditation starts. Meditation is that spontaneous spaciousness. The concentration is the focusing on one object. And these two, because when you Google meditation, it says something like a concentration practice that centers your mind, da, da, da. These are the things that but that is just the first, that is not meditation. That is just the preparation for meditation that is often considered to be the practice itself. But then the spontaneous beingness happens, and in that the ego is still has its ways in that. It's still trying things. It's still trying to be with that. And when that starts to reveal itself, the practice that is the most dominant practice in my tradition, Atma Vichar, or self-inquiry, is possible. And that means to question the source of the ego. When the ego says, meditation is not going very well today, you will say, to whom is meditation not going well? And you look for the source of that sense of I. Most of us have a identified sense that is related to the body. You feel, I am the body. The sense of I am is connected to the body. Or I am a certain thought. When thoughts come and tell you about your person or your state, usually it comes in your voice and you say, this is my voice, this is what's happening to me. And in this spaciousness, you start to be aware of that you can observe these kind of thoughts. This kind of thinking can be observed. The things that you usually identify with can be observed. And in that observation, that creates, it's the beginning of creating a distance to it. It feels like it doesn't hit you as hard anymore. You know that you start to know that the voice in your head is just a voice in my head. It's not automatically me. And in that awareness, you're able to observe things. You can observe your emotional state and allow it. You can observe your thoughts and be with them, see them express. And yes. And that creates a lot of freedom. When you're just reactive, when you're unaware of your emotions and your thoughts and you're just reactive, someone says something you don't like and the whole ride is on. You bought the ticket, you went on the ride, and it goes for 3 days. You have to worry about things and you're emotional around it and all that. Because you don't understand that you bought into something. Because the identity is so connected to whatever comes your way. So that is a big part why people are so easily manipulated, why they can be clickbaited in media, why they can be outraged. People just know that yes, a big group of society will react to this kind of thing because it's nasty enough, and then they put it out. And it's not that when you're not triggered like that, it's not that you don't understand that it's happening. It's just that you're not invested personally anymore. You don't feel offended or that these triggers take you over. You notice that, okay, this is happening, but it's not personal anymore. And the interesting part that I didn't realize from the start was this impersonal awareness gives much more room to be much more intimate with people. Because when you're not taken over by emotions in every moment or triggered by your thoughts, you can also stay with people and they can express what they want to express. I can take examples from my own life. I had people who I remember one person that had a tumor in her brain, and she was so scared to tell her family. And she said, "Can I just talk to you a little bit about it before I tell them? Because I know that you won't react, you won't freak out. I just want to be safe with it at first. Can we talk just a little and I can tell you about it?" And we talked and I listened and she thanked me and then she was ready to tell her family. And it creates that kind of safety, because if someone does not freak out, you are held. And this is the quality of that beingness that is in everyone. It does not freak out. It does not get wounded. It does not get hurt. It just is. It is like your perfect best friend, who is not coming there to give you advice. But when you're sad or you're heartbroken or you're going through a crisis, that best friend shows up and just stays with your side and just accepts you as you are, not trying to fix you, not trying to do anything, just be there. And this acceptance, this deep acceptance of the moment, that is what we refer to as love. That is what everyone is looking for. Most people have the idea that that is found outside. If I have enough of this, relationships, money, this or that, I will feel this satisfaction, I will feel happy. And if you have lived a little, you start to notice, oh, it doesn't really seem to do much. My situation gets better, I got a better job now, but I still feel the same. I still feel dissatisfied and I don't feel content with my life. So where is that contentment? Where is that sense of love? And this is what meditation shows, that you are the source of that. The thing that you're looking for, the approval that you're looking for, the fulfillment that you're looking for, you are the source of that. This is such a beautiful discovery. And for me, who was looking to get rid of anxiety and find this, I had no idea that it would lead me to that. And this beingness in us, this stillness, this vastness, this gap between thoughts, it gives us everything. It's where everything comes from. But we don't even recognize it, most of us. Sometimes our mind is silent, but we don't remember the silence. We have no attention on it. We don't stay with it, because most people just think it's a gap between until something interesting is happening, is when I'm thinking and my next thought. So the focus of what the experience is completely shifts, because you start to have an interest in the spaces instead of the content. And you notice that you're sitting on your walk, you sit on your porch, at a bench in a porch, and you just look. You just enjoy. You just allow the space in you to be. People walk by, this color and shapes experience happening. But you are with this contentment. You don't want to fix anything. You don't care to try to unravel your situation. You don't have to do anything with it. It can just be allowed to unfold. And it is impossible for me to tell you about this, because you have to experience it. My words, they point towards it, but you have to do the work. And at first, it is work, because it will be challenging, because you will go against what your mind says about the life. The ego wants the content of the mind to continue. It puts a but on every sentence. Yes, this is fine, I like it, but there's always a caveat. There's always a thing that it feels could be fixed or be different. It does not go into the deep acceptance of being. So this is very much the challenge at first, and it has its ideas. It says, oh, I'm a great meditator now. The mind is so silent, and the ego goes completely into this idea and becomes arrogance, perhaps. I'm the most silent here. It can do all kinds of things. And that is the challenge at first. But the more you recognize beingness, the more you start to be less interested in all the content. It is secondary. I talk about it sometimes like the surface of the sea. It seems to happen a lot at the surface, right? Everything, all the boats are there are birds there are waves, there are tsunamis, all kinds of things happen on the surface. But the sea itself is thousands of meters deep. It's so deep, there is so much sea. And people say that it is nothing, but it's the source of all the life and makes the surface possible. And this is the same with the depth of our being. We are mainly space, but we act like we're only the surface, only the content. And most people live their life completely in that, completely externalized, just looking at the outside world and see what can I do with this outside world? How can I fix it? How can I push people around? How can I get more control? How can I get bigger, more, better? Whatever your idea is. But in the depths of being, none of that is relevant. Suddenly, the relevance lies in everything that makes us the same. How can I serve? How can I be with what is? You start to notice that feelings like hate takes so much of your mental capacities and so much effort to be kept that you don't want to keep them. They stop so much the spaciousness of the mind that you rather go to empathy, forgiveness, kindness. And it's not like a philosophical idea. That is what is in your heart. Because all these things that we talk about here, if they're just performed on an intellectual level, and many, believe me, many traditions have tried this, to just perform the meditative qualities through the intellect. That does not work. I know that there are people in this Sangha that have experience of these kind of settings. You have to have the experience of it. It is not so difficult. You don't have to go into performing. You don't have to go to a monastery where they say that you have to smile and be happy because that's how we are here, or some other performative bullshit. You don't have to go into that. You just stay with your experience as it is and look. You don't have to copy how I live my life, what I have done on this so-called spiritual journey. You look, you see, and you report to me, and I will respond best as I can. Because you will all be different. You all have different temperaments. You all have different paths into this. And as Vedanta is connected to the Hindu tradition, and people sometimes say that the Hindus have so many gods, they just have so many doors. That's the whole idea of that spiritual system. Whatever spirituality, spiritual temperament that you have, there is a God for that. Like all the firemen and all the police, they always have pictures of Hanuman, because he's like the hero, the savior of Rama, this monkey god that carries the mountain. Perhaps you have seen it. Yes. So he embodies those qualities. So for everyone who likes serving through their physical power, they enjoy Hanuman. But that is also a spiritual path. It's also karma yoga. It's also to understand that it is not a job where you have power and you're forceful. It is a service. And if you're in that, you will be able to have a harmonious life. And if you think that it's just you're powerful and have a lot of power and abuse it, it will of course be terrible. And there are so many ways for the creatives. There's Saraswati. For the ones who's just very devotionally inclined, there's Krishna. For the yogis and the meditators who feel like they're drawn to that kind of way of life, there's Shiva. They have all these kind of flavors. And that is just different doors to inspire to come into spirituality through your disposition, through your temperament. And just as the Hindus understood that, that is the same here. You will all be different. You have different things, you have different obstacles, you have different ideas of how to take on meditation. You will have different challenges. You will be caught in different traps. So that is what this is. We expose it, we talk about it, so you don't have to be stuck. I am here because I wish that when I started, that I would meet someone like me and could just ask straight questions. It's so easy to feel lonely on the spiritual path, and it's very difficult to find good guidance. Is there any questions today? Yes.
When you were talking about the Indian gods now and the different paths that they represent, I was wondering about the female gods and the different paths there are.
Yes.
Yes.
One of my favorites when they come to the female aspects is Kali and Durga. That I think represent beautiful things. I don't know, have you seen pictures of Kali and Durga? Some of you I know. Do you?
Only Kali, yes.
Only Kali, yes. They're sometimes called like they're the same aspect, but Durga is more like the heroine, the hero aspect of Kali. She's usually riding on if I remember correctly, a lion, I think. And she slays male demons with her swords. She usually has 2 of them, I think. So it's quite a bloody scene, but she's like a warrior. And Kali is with a blood-red tongue, with skulls around her neck, dancing on corpses. So they're very, very brutal images, very, very dark images, especially Kali. But they represent a force that is an innate force that is in all of us. I sometimes talk about it like the quality when a mother wants to protect her cubs, like in the animal kingdom. When a mother of any kind wants to protect her children, she's impossible. And always also considered the most dangerous thing is to like meet a bear mother with her cubs. That's like the worst that you can encounter, because she will be so fierce. And even if she's just a tiny duck or something, she will not give up. Have you seen like a duck mother trying to be pushed away? She never gives up. She's terrible. She will do everything in her way. She will push, push, push. She will bite. She will do everything. Because she will never surrender that. She has so much power. And this is the same as the power of Durga, is the quality of not giving up. And the picture of Durga cutting the heads of these demons is the meditator sitting with the thoughts and not buying into anything. And it can be terrible things, it can be beautiful things, all things can come, but Durga just cuts the heads of everything. So there are many, many stories, but these 2 I enjoy very much. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how to like cope with, or what to do when like anxiety and emotions gets super strong.
When you get overwhelmed.
Yeah, and yeah, basically when it takes over, and can also take over the body and the whole mind, and where to find like an anchor or what to do, basically, I guess.
Yes.
In those moments.
The first part of it is just to recognize that it's there. Many people, when they feel a lot, they don't want to be with it. So for many people it's just, I cannot take this, I want to distract myself. So they just try to get out of their mind and out of their pain somehow. But the best way is to start by just recognizing that it is happening, how the body is feeling with it, how the emotional content is, how the bodily sensations of it is. And usually you don't want to go there because the body feels a bit yucky. It doesn't feel nice at all. But just feel like, try to observe it on a very, very neutral level. And in that is usually a key to, for example, if you have a sense of that the body feels very disgusting, it can feel like that sometimes. It can be very nice to just shake the body and to express that somehow. Shaking the body is great, and you can also do it for quite a long time. And Like, when you have disgusting feeling, if you smelled something really yucky in your trash, and you feel like, ugh, this kind. So that is one way, but it depends very much on what this emotion is and where it's. Sometimes you come easily to just crying it out. Sometimes you have to stay with it a little bit. Sometimes it needs to be expressed somehow. But the more you have awareness of it, the easier your practice with it will be, because you will know what it needs and how it needs to be expressed.
Yeah, I can feel like at times handlingsförlamning. I don't know how that's said.
You get frozen.
Yeah, and that I know that I need to do something or go or like to just change in some way, but it just gets stuck quite strongly. Yeah, I think that's like in the deep loop of the anxiety, where it's hard to act, I guess.
Yes.
And then maybe it's just to wait it out. I don't know.
Yes, but and also like on a very surface level, sometimes to just like, instead of just staying in your apartment, just go out for a walk or just do something that at first feels very not nice or not the right thing to do, that just changes your environment or changes your experience, can help it. But if we're going to look at it in the depth of it, it has to be brought into awareness. There is no way around that. Because what is it that creates this anxiety? What is the source of it? It's usually that there is an expression that is suppressed. And people can have the most beautiful natural impulses about their emotions. I know many people that feel very spontaneous, loving towards others, but feels in a workplace and in the context of their friends perhaps, that it's wrong to express that. So they suppress the feelings of love. So all these things makes us very locked. And when it goes far enough, you start to get frozen in it. It feels like you cannot move anywhere and there is no space. And this is all because the natural pace of things are not allowed to happen. So, and as you sit with it, it will be unavoidable that you will start to sense the things that you need in it. And maybe they're uncomfortable, maybe they're outside of your comfort zone, maybe you just have to expose it, maybe you're very good at keeping it to yourself, and to just expose it to a close friend or expose it here, and it's just, the cat is out of the bag, and then it's not so big. Because most of the emotional content becomes very big because it's kept. So almost everyone who has negative emotion feel alone with their negative emotions when most people feel like that. So it's such a strange thing to feel like, and people love to say, "Oh, I have a great day, da da da, everything is fine," and then they go into the bathroom and cry. Or people don't want to seem weak. They're afraid of it. They don't want to expose their inner workings to others. So they curate everything. And then people feel very, very lonely, and they think, yes, of all the people here, I'm the only one with anxiety. And if you had really examined the people, most of them are dealing with it in their different temperaments, in their different ways. And for many people, it's just a question also about feeling held. And just to find a space where you can rest and you are allowed to have the emotions that you have. That's why, a part of why we do this. Here is a free space. You're allowed to feel anxious, you're allowed to feel exactly as you are. And in that allowance, the natural pace of things can start again. It's no longer frozen or locked. And if the door to that has been shut for a long time, it usually comes with a lot of tears. And that is fine. This is not a no-tear tradition. I cried so much next to my guru. It's ridiculous. Some days I just came there, I cried, I cried, I cried. I cried from joy, I cried from everything. We have too many ideas of how to be. And we listen too much. As soon as some criticize our behavior, we try to change it, we try to fit in, we want to be loved by all. But that doesn't work. You have to be with the natural expressions that are. That is the only way. And the beauty of the stability that comes with meditation is also that you stop caring what other people think. Life is not just about conforming to things, to fit in, to be loved by others. You can play that game, and many do, but it's very taxing, and you never feel authentic. It's a brutal game to play, that so many people play. And the challenge in meditation is just to be authentic with it. Because everything else says, fake it and you will be loved. Fake a smile and people will like you better. Do more like this and you will fit in better. You will make more money. You will da-da-da. And you always risk being strange.
Yeah, I was on that aspect of being strange, because I have had 2 days of opening exhibitions and talking with people and being so normal, having a lot of anxiety and just holding it back and barely been able to actually cope with all these situations. But I have this fear of being strange and not like fucking up my career or whatever in this time, and that's I guess a very big struggle for me to or fear of being strange or showing that I'm actually not at all enjoying the moment where
I think it's such a common thing to feel. And the fears that most people have is of loneliness, seeming like the crazy or going crazy. And in the acceptance of the emotions and the acceptance of the expressions, you might become more eccentric. But also you won't care. It's all right to be strange also. You can be however. Because if the acceptance of it creates this space, creates this expression that is natural, creates the natural playfulness that comes with this moment, creates all the natural beauty that comes with just being authentic. Is there anything better in life than that? No. That is the most beautiful thing that I have encountered. And if people say that I'm childish sometimes, or or they call me naive because they don't understand my approach to life, it's fine. Because they criticize me, will I stop being an expression of the love that I feel? No. I don't care. The quality of life is not a secondary thing. It is life itself. It is sometimes treated like, yes, I could do that, but I'm more into this viewing the world as external and doing my things. But where you completely miss the whole qualities of everything. You just strive. You just look for things in the future. Why? How is the meeting with the people that you're meeting in the moment? If you're authentic with yourself, even though you feel sad or anxious, you're at least recognizing what is, and you can be with it. Otherwise, you live in an idea of always being wrong. That you're not enough, that you're somehow wrong, that your expressions are wrong, that there's something wrong with me. So many people say that. There's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just the acceptance of your expressions are not there. You want to be something else. That is the thing that is wrong. It's just a question of mistaken identity. Is to put your ideas of what life is in the ideas of your ideal. What you want to strive for, what you want to become, and suddenly you just live for the future. Instead of just recognizing the beautiful expression of what is here now. How can I allow that to express completely? How can I be acceptance of that? And even if you're scared of your mind and you have dark thoughts or whatever it is, in the acceptance of it is much the chance of them diminishing is major, but in the suppression of them, they will have a grip on you that you're unaware of. That is the real brutality of things. Did I answer your question? Someone else? Yes.
how does one start doing this? What's a good starting point like to practice this, to practice meditation?
There's a couple of things that are good. The first thing is just to practice, to just sit, to just look inward instead of just taking everything in outside and relating to that. And in that, the mind is often overwhelming. So as I talked about before, start with concentration. Start with something to focus your mind. The breath through the nose is great. You can feel it in your nostrils. You can feel how it more subtly hits your upper lip here. And you can just stay with that. You can just observe that until the mind settles a little bit. And then see if you can go to just being aware of thinking, of the body. Just see what is here. And after a while, there will be some stability in this observing. You will start to have made your camp there. So you can come back to it time and time again, and you will notice some days it's difficult to observe, some days it's easier, but you will have some stability. Start there. And if you need guidance, come here. Tell me about where you're at, and I can tell you what to do.
I noticed that I want to ask, like, that I want a specific, 6 o'clock, quarter of an hour, sit in this particular place in your room,
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Everyone would like that.
Yeah.
It is like, I understand that there are so many traditions that are like that, and they're very specific, and it's very rigorous. But for me, who has also been in a tradition like that at first, for 8 years, before I came into Vedanta, I can say that it works really poorly, because it is so easily just going into will. So that's why I'm very careful with that. You need a little discipline in it, but most of all you need sincerity. And you also need to understand, if this is your first encounter with non-duality and Vedanta, you need to know some basic things about it, because it will make you aware when you sit. You will remember, Markus said that this could happen. And then you catch something that otherwise you can get stuck in for years, months, for a long time. So I just want to give you the right kind of information, so you're not overwhelmed, but so that you can relate to this subject. And you have to relate to it on a logical level. It has to make sense to you. It has to feel like this is a good thing. I don't really understand the whole experiential part of it. I understand that, but I have an intellectual grasp that I find interesting, at least. There you have to start. And if you are a reader, I can recommend you books, but it's very nice to just have a context like this to come back to. So sometimes people think that they come and listen to me 1 or 2 times, and I think like, yeah, he talks about pretty much the same things. I think I got it now. But it does not work like that. When Elsa, who runs the studio here, she said the other day, maybe this is my 10th time. Now I recognize what you do with us when I listen to you again and again. It took her 10 times to realize that. So these kind of things we are so used to with such a quick effect, and we want just give me the instructions and I will just run with it. That's what people want. But that is not how meditation works. You will do your practice. You will start to do these small steps. You will look at the messy closet for a while, and you will realize, oh, there is some space. The mind can be spacious also. I recognize that now. I've sensed it 1 or 2 times. And you come into a nice state of it, and you just have to let it take time. And when you start to realize things, those things also have to be embodied, and you have to get used to them. A very common thing is that you lose interest in certain things that you've been interested in before, perhaps gossiping or something that you enjoy doing, and you start to lose interest. But the behavior pattern and your environment is still in supportive of your behavior. So it just lingers for a while. Until you notice, okay, I really have to let this go, or it just naturally drops away and it changes. And that the external world is also a component in it. It also changes when you start to be more aware of your inner workings. And many things can happen with that. Certain things that have been buried in you might come back. They might come back as a person that is giving you these feelings again, or whatever it is. So all those things has to be handled. So it's for most people it's a very slow process, and especially and you have to start somewhere. But it's very, very beneficial for everyone who takes on. And if you're sincere with it, it doesn't take long. It changes quickly. And you will notice what things you're hung up on, what your obstacles are, what you're afraid of. And if you're sincere with it and you come here and we talk about it, the chances that you overcome it very quickly. I am not here to collect students. I'm not here to make something great in that sense. I just want to see what happens, and I just want to mirror this that I have been given to you. I just want to reflect that. I just want to serve. That's all. So start simple. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you exactly when to sit.
It's fine.
But and if you're not very used to it, don't sit too long. Sit like 15-20 minutes to start with is a good time, and then if you're more comfortable after a while, you can start to do half an hour. And there are no rules to it, but start with half an hour a day, and if you feel very comfortable with that and it feels like no problem, even on a day that you're tired, then you can start to also do both morning and evening, or whenever you have time. And a very good practice to involve into this is also to have what I call a check-in during the day. Sometime during the day, a couple of times, if it comes to you, just to recognize the experience of the body, the thinking. Just come to a space where you recognize what is here in this moment. At first, it will just be a helpful tool to you, because you will notice, oh, I'm a little bit stressed by this, or I'm a little bit anxious, and you didn't notice before because you were acting in the world. And it just can center you very quickly. But the greatest benefit of it is that there is some awareness of your state, just coming back to it. It's just like a micro meditation. And when you get used to it, you just watch. And you can go back into your work. You can just do it very, very briefly, but it just changes where you look at the world from. You just break the automatic patterns of the thinking mind. And this is very much what you do at first. You just break all your automatic patterns that you go through. And you will have also what can happen is that you naturally get into glimpses of that you feel very present. It feels like colors and shapes and everything feels very vivid. These kind of experiences come with that. Okay.
I'd just like to comment on that, what you said about sincerity, because in my previous meditation practices, I've done it daily, that sort of thing, same time, same amount of time, but it has felt like a chore,
Yes.
If it's a routine, okay, and I think maybe what was missing or deficient, just that idea of sincerity is it sounds important.
Yes.
So that it doesn't become
No.
just okay, now I've done it, check,
Yes.
that sort of thing. So I'll definitely take that with me.
Yes, and there are many times I've heard ask people, they say that they meditate, and ask, okay, so tell me about it, and they say, yes, I just heard from a friend that it's good, so I'm doing it, and they have they really do it like that. They just, okay, I did the meditation, but there is no awareness in it. There's just the commitment to it, and it just feels like they're in a prison with closed eyes for a little while, and then they're released from prison again, and it feels a bit nice that they're out of prison of the meditation.
Yeah, I recognize that one.
Yes. So that is why I don't make a strict world for you to say you have to do it like this, and there's no effect if you don't do it like that, and here are the 100 rules you have to follow, because that will to the mind just be a little prison. You have to come into this with the love for freedom, with the existential longing for truth and for freedom. If that is your drive, if it comes from you, your longing, because there's some reason that you're here, so assume in you that there is an inherent longing for something like this. And if you follow that, and that is the thing guiding when you sit, and you come into that and you see, okay, what is here? Not what am I going to do? Have I done enough? Blah, blah. You have enough of that in your life already, I guess. So instead, look what is. Be aware of it. Be in acceptance of it. Be here. And it will be completely different. It's not a chore. It's not something you're forced to do. You will do it from love. And at first you will struggle some, the mind would resist, but you have to find this base. Where is it coming from? Where is this longing? What is it that made your feet come here? That same quality when you sit. Not because I am saying it. I'm not your authority like that. You do it from you. And you have to understand that it is an exploration. That the way you look at it, you will see, what is this moment? What do I take myself to be? What is it that happens in these moments of spaciousness? When there is just nothing. Who am I then? Suddenly all the things that I talk about are feels like you're a detective with small hints. and you will hear something else when I talk. You will say, oh, now he's giving that hint again. Why did that stand out so much today? I heard it before, but it meant nothing before. Now it means something. So yes, that's why I teach the way I teach. And when I came into a tradition that was that free, I felt a tremendous sense of relief. I went to a retreat and they said, you don't have to sit. Sit if you like. Just come to the Satsangs once a day and you sit like however much you want. I never sat as much as I did then. Then I just felt free to sit as much as I wanted to. It was not forced, it was not a little prison anymore. It was just a freedom that I could sit. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We usually sing something at the end of this. How many are we? 5. What do you say, Sanna? Should we sing to Kali Durga, or do you have another? Oh, you had another?
Yes, the new one.
The new one, yes.
The Ma Durga.
Yes, let's do it. The other Durga mantra. Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga, Hey Ma Durga, Jagatambe, Jai Jaya Jagatambe. May everyone find the inherent peace that lies in this pure awareness. Find their way home into this light, recognizing an acceptance and accepting this moment. May all beings find peace. Om Shanti.